Hey, coffee people, it's Mike from Convoy Road Coffee Roasters. You ever wonder why Ethiopian coffee tastes nothing like Kenyan coffee, even though they're neighbors? Interesting question. But today I want to walk you through some of the reasons why coffees from different parts of Africa taste different. The place we're going to start is in East Africa, namely Ethiopia, because that's where it all started over 1,000 years ago. There's a story about Caldi and his goats. He first discovered coffee. I'm not going to get into it. You can look it up for yourself. But the Ethiopian coffees are fantastic. My personal favorite, and part of the reason is coffee evolved naturally in Ethiopia. It was introduced to other parts of the world, and there's still in Ethiopia. There's still coffee that grows in the wild, just wild coffee trees, and that might sound a little weird to folks, but inside each coffee cherry there are two beans, what we call beans, but they're actually seeds. Coffee is a tree, so the coffee cherries fall off. Eventually, the two seeds, what we call beans, the two seeds, they go into the ground and they actually grow into other trees. Um, but the heirloom varietals there go way back to over 1,000 years ago. And the farming there is they're still using 10th century farming methods. Now, what you're going to find with the Ethiopians is usually a floral or a berry flavor, really unlike anything else. Now, Kenya, their neighbor, we've brought in some coffees from Kenya. Right now, we have one, Kenya AA Kaganda Factory. That is fantastic, and here's why. There are two varietals that are the primary ones grown in Kenya, the SL28 and the SL34 varietals. SL stands for Scott Laboratories. They bred these, developed them in the lab, and that's why your Kenyan coffees are so good. Red volcanic soil from a lot of extinct volcanoes. You get a full body, fruit forward, and a bold structure. And maybe with the Kenyas, the Kenya AA is famous. I'm sure you've had a Kenyan coffee before if you're a coffee person at all. We've got Kenya AA Kaganya Factory in our store right now. It's fantastic. Rwanda. Now let me take you back about 4.5 years ago. We do an Origin of the Month program, and the third Origin of the Month that we brought in was Rwanda Maboro Western Highlands, and that's really what jump-started our coffee business. That coffee was so good. Rwanda Maboro Western Highlands. That got a lot of customers hooked on our coffees. Another one that we brought in was a Rwanda, let's see, WCE Kawayaku Peaberry. Now, peaberry, I'm sure you've heard the story. Peaberry, normally there's two beans that develop inside the coffee cherry. About 1 in 9 of those coffee cherries is going to only one bean will form, and that's called a peaberry. Well, the Rwanda Women's Coffee Extension Kawayaku Peaberry is just a fantastic coffee grown, processed. Every single phase of this coffee's development was done by this extension of coffee people, or of women coffee farmers. And one of the neat things about this, one of the benefits that they provide, is a cow to each of their members, and they do other things too, like help with school supplies and building schools and things like that, educating the community, the kids. But one of the benefits is they offer a cow to their members, and that makes a huge difference to women in Kenya, or I'm sorry, in Rwanda. Might not mean a whole lot to us here in the United States, but it does to those women. Anyway, the Kawayaku Peaberry was fantastic, just a great coffee. It's competition quality. The social impact, again, I've already covered that, but it's grown around the Lake Kivu area, red volcanic soil. And quality, this Rwanda is where quality meets purpose, because these women are growing, and all the coffee farmers in Rwanda are growing this coffee to really serve their community. So it's fantastic. Let me hit on a couple of the others. These are probably countries that you've never heard of, or maybe you've heard of some of them. Burundi. We brought in two coffees from Burundi, both of them fantastic. If you've ever get the chance to try a coffee from Burundi, I think we still have some now in our store. It's just fantastic. Tanzania. We brought in a Tanzania peaberry that's just lights out. Fantastic coffee. Grown around Mount Kilimanjaro. You kind of get a tea-like clarity, but it doesn't taste like tea with these coffees. Uganda, the Rwenzori Mountains. We've brought in some great coffees from that region. And it's kind of surprising, but it's a really complex coffee. So in this part of Africa, you get the volcanic soils, high elevations, really distinct brightness. What you can expect overall from East African coffees is a light to full body, high to complex brightness, floral, berry, citrus, tea, and a wine-like fruity flavor notes that you'll find. And the elevations at which they're grown in this part of Africa, usually about 4,000 to 6,500 feet above sea level. Now, let's go to Central Africa, because there's some really good coffees grown there, too. And these are really compelling origin stories. These coffee farmers, they're doing incredible things for their communities. I want to talk about the Democratic Republic of Congo. The Virunga National Park border is a gorilla habitat. We brought in a coffee from DR Congo that was called Gorilla Blend, because the right there in the gorilla habitat. Fantastic. There's over 4,500 farming families in DR Congo, and they're really doing it to conserve a way of life. And you think about it, they grow coffee. That's how they feed their families. And generally in the coffee supply chain, it's the farmers who make the least amount of money, which is really a shame. But again, volcanic soils, unique fruity and kind of spicy flavors. And they're challenging origins to roast, and that complexity makes them very unique. But these people deserve support. That's why we bring these coffees in from these other parts of the world. Cameroon Kaplami was a fantastic coffee. We brought that in probably 2 years ago. Super coffee, just really, really good. Grown in the Mount Oku volcanic area. And there's a history of German colonial Cameroon. They've come a long way since then. But with Cameroon coffees, you get complex, fruit forward, and these are increasingly rare. Let's move on to what you can expect from from Central African coffees. No, most of these are wash processed. Now, in the wash process, you tend to get that the wash process tends to bring out and reflect the character of the terroir, or the conditions that it's grown in, soil and so forth. You get a medium body. The brightness is medium to high. The flavor is generally fruity, spicy, citrusy, and with berry notes. Elevation is about the same, 4,000 to 6,500 feet. And it's really about conservation and, again, community support. Now, let's jump to Southern Africa. These are competition quality coffees. We brought in one from Zambia Estate RFA Honey. Just a phenomenal coffee. We kept it around for, about 2 years, and then we just couldn't find it anymore. The suppliers weren't carrying it anymore. And the thing about specialty coffee is it's harvest to harvest. So, maybe one of the harvests came out and it wasn't so good and it didn't cup with high scores. But man, the Zambian coffee was fantastic. And I'm pulling all these from a database that I put together where we've meticulously logged 79 or so maybe it's a little over 80 now, coffees, all the details about these. And I'm pulling all this information from that database. So Zambia, it's a smaller origin, but the quality is fantastic. This coffee that we brought in took second at the Zambia Taste of Harvest competition and fourth in all of Africa. Um, it's honey processed, and the way honey processing works is when they're fermenting the beans, they leave a little bit of the body of the cherry on the beans, and as that dries out, some of the sweetness from the body of the cherry gets embedded in the beans, and it's just really fantastic. Um, it's African, but it's different because you get kind of a floral, honey, brown sugar notes. Um, so from Zambia, you can expect medium body, honey, stone fruit, brown sugar, and floral notes. Now these are grown at a slightly lower elevation, 4,000 to 5,000 feet. But it's competition grade. It's award winning. We've brought in some fantastic coffees. Over the next couple weeks, I'm going to walk you around. We're going to take a journey around coffee regions around the world. It only made sense that we start in Africa, specifically Ethiopia, because that's the birthplace of coffee. If you want to look into that, just Google Kaldi and his goats. It'll tell you the whole story. It's fantastic. So why I want to do this, everybody's kind of got their favorites. Some people it's African, some people it's Colombia, some people it's Central American coffees, some people it's the Indonesian coffees, which, by the way, are fantastic. So it matters where it's grown, and every place that it's grown is different. So you end up with a different feel to the coffee, a flavor to the coffee. They're not just places on a map; these are farmers. Most of them on very small farms, a couple acres, and this is how they feed their families, which is phenomenal. If you have any coffee questions, please let me know. Well, let's talk about it. If you're local, come into the shop. I'd love to sit down and talk with you about coffee. I can do it all day long. It's just fascinating. Other people like Dawn, for instance, my wife and the CEO, she can't talk coffee all day long. She is pure business. I love the coffee aspect of what we do. So come on in. I'd love to talk to you about it. More regions are coming, and we'll get to those in the coming weeks. But I just want to say thank you too. Thank you for being part of our coffee story, and thank you for making us part of your coffee story. Stay tuned for other videos in the future. We're going to walk you all around the whole world of coffee.